We have about 695 people, which is why it's a bit unstable right now. Can you all see the screen, the slides?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Prof.
Yes, Prof.
Thank you. Okay, so as I said, you all need to be in control of your study, your general learning agreements, all the things you need to upload, your personal data, everything, and the study plan. Once it's approved by your program coordinator, then that will be submitted as well by the program coordinator. Now your learning journey. So this is one system where we hope. Yeah, we've been wanting to do this for the longest time. Sometimes you all don't know where you're going to go in that year until it's what your posting is, who you're with, who your supervisors. For now, we want to make sure that all the when you're in we can and we don't know which department you're going to be with, who's going to be your supervisor, where you're going to get rotated to. We want for our training partners to be better organized so that we can actually map out, and we work together with our KKM counterparts to ensure that your rotations are smooth and assured, so that we can actually help get them to help us, and we can help them map out your learning journey a little bit more appropriately, so that we know your rotations ahead of time. So a year in advance, if possible, which will be beautiful, and 4 years, if it was mapped out, will be even better. But we'll need to get to that. So baby steps first. So your learning activities will be done online, your rotations, everything will be placed online. And then, of course, the assessments, which is your workplace-based assessments, basically your mini-CATs, your DOPS, your case-based assessments, whatever else that according to your specialty. And once you have been introduced to your research supervisor, then you can also start putting in the information on your research thesis on as that keep and store there. And of course, every 6 months, or depending on your specialty, every year you will have apart from all the workplace-based assessments, your logbook, your learning activities, your progress report, as well as your end of stage evaluation, it will store all this information as well. Okay. And the third phase is, of course, so your trainee onboarding, the learning journey, and of course, at exit, your program completion. So all the various things that you need to achieve at exit, it will be in a way where we can put it out there so that you can tick the research project submission and examinations that you need to achieve, as well as the exit criteria per specialty will also be mapped out. Okay, next slide. So these are the main elements. So there'll be various users who have each distinct roles on this ePortfolio. First user, of course, is yourselves as the clinical trainee. Second is the program coordinator. Third is your supervisors, namely your educational supervisor, your rotation supervisors, and for those of you doing your master's candidates, of course, will have a research report, thesis report. You will have a research thesis supervisor. And of course, the fourth user is the systems admin, which is our admin here at the Dean's office, as well as the department. Okay, next slide. So as trainees, your role, basically, as I said, you control your own fate and your journey. Okay, so you're responsible for the initiation and entry of all learning journey activities in your portfolio, which includes the workplace-based assessments, your logbook, and any other learning activity that you want to log in. So you have access to your records to facilitate the recording of this and management of your learning ePortfolio. Now, the full ePortfolio and its evaluation is a requirement for you to successfully complete the program. Yeah, so I don't need not say anything more about that. And basically, if it's incomplete, then it may compromise your ability to sit for the end of stage and end the program exit examinations. Yeah, so that's why we need to ensure that you have control. If you have any issue. Okay, so program coordinators, for those of you who are online, program coordinators, you're responsible for basically the study plan, approving any statutory documents, study plans. You have the program setup functions, which you can be able to, from an administrative perspective, have a general oversight of all your trainees in your specialty, in your department, your day-to-day operational functions, monitoring of certain logistics. Say, for example, a trainee is asked to change rotations or move hospital for various reasons, then we will be able to you'll be alerted, and then we can actually inform, and we will be able to make those adjustments for the trainee, especially when they're outside of UM. Okay. Any escalation of any issues or requests from supervisors can also be escalated to the program coordinator, and you let us know if there's any issues. And you'll be working with the systems administrator to implement any program level changes. So program level changes means, any changes in supervisors, any changes in rotations, any administrative changes that need to be done to the portfolio to ensure that it works smoothly for the running of the program. Next slide. So educational supervisor, all of you will have been assigned one. Now they are for the full duration of the program. They may or may not be the same supervisor for your, they may also, so your educational supervisor may also be, at times, your rotational supervisor, they may also be your thesis report supervisors as well. So they may overlap, yeah. But the educational supervisor is there for your all of your 4 years, and they will have an overall view of all your training records, evaluate your progress together with the program coordinator and any other assessors to actually look at your journey and see whether you can progress from 1 year to the next. And also they'll be on hand at exit to ensure that you have gone through all the various things. And basically they are there as safety nets to ensure that you are safely going through from one stage to the next. Okay. So that's why they are named on your general learning agreement, because they sign a contract to ensure that they deliver their role to you, because any breach of this also will have some repercussions to them, because we don't take this lightly. We have to actually monitor. If you signed as an educational supervisor and you're not functioning as one, then therefore the department has a role to play in ensuring that you get the right educational supervisor. Okay. They will also have access to all your records that you have put on there, and ensure that and check that it is all in order. Now, I've not written much about rotational supervisors because, they are also for maybe a period of 3 to 6 months, or depending on, or even 1 month, depending on how long you are attached to that particular firm. So they will be the ones that you have been named. They may be about 3 or 4, depending on the posting. But we will actually need to know their names ahead of time. So that's why we need to ask the program coordinators or also the admin at your departments to actually identify who are the potential trainers, because if it's in UM we can identify, we can control, but if it's in KKM they move around quite a lot, and respecting their various domains of where they work, it may change from time to time. So we need to ensure that who you say is your rotation supervisor is somebody that we have on record as well, and if it's not, then we have to verify, because that's important. But it's something that we need to work, and with any new system we will need to work together. Okay. Not that we don't trust you, but sometimes you may write somebody else's name and it's not somebody that is registered in the system. So the person, that whoever it is, needs to register in the system as well, agree, and then provide the proper feedback, and we need to sort of verify that they are indeed in that rotation at the KKM hospital or even here. Research supervisors, self-explanatory, they're the ones that are going to be supervising your thesis, and they'll be for the full duration of the research project. They also have a learning agreement that they need to sign, especially if you're doing research with MOH, as well as it's a combination of UM and MOH. And they'll be able to review your research work, and when you upload it to the system and into your final submission as well. Okay, next. System administrators, now they could be anyone from Mr. Praha himself and our IT officer here in Chek Wan. They could also be an administrator based in the department. Now they will be given access, and they will have program level access, meaning in terms of changing names, changing rotations, so they need to have the oversight, so that if there's any problem, especially a technical problem, they can help us out. The initial setup with the university program, staff users, creation of forms, etc. We have had them over the past year learn how to put this on. So thank you to all the department heads for ensuring that our system administrators have been present for all the workshops that we've been doing. There's been a lot of work behind the scenes. So as you trainees, please be very patient with our system administrators at your office. They're on a learning curve as well. and as are we. So together with the program provider, we are trying to get things as smooth as possible. So so please, they will work with the program coordinators and the supervisors, and they're the first line of support for the university. Yeah, and any escalation or any works with any development groups for feedback. So basically, as we go through these things, of course, you guys will have some feedback, and we hope to hear from them so that we can troubleshoot and ensure that it is as in good condition as possible for us to actually share with other universities and even with KKM. So we will be having regular user training. If you look on our website under postgraduate as well, there is also a learning video that you can look, not just for trainees, but also for trainers that Mr. Praha has put online, has been there for the past year, in fact. Yeah, and we will be updating, so we will be showing that to you as well later. Next. So, all right, so this is just a QR code for you to get in touch with our IT officer if there should be any problems to troubleshoot. But we will first, then I think this is the last slide. So, okay, over the next hour, we will get Mr. Praha to introduce you to the system, talk you through it, and then we will have a Q&A at the end of it, yeah? Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for spending the afternoon with us.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the session. I think we have quite a huge number, which is about close to 750 candidates. And thank you, Prof. Sharul. I think Prof. Sharul has already mentioned in terms of the general overview of the system. I would like to introduce you to everyone on how to use the system. And this system introduction is going to be from the point of the trainees, right? For the trainers, we'll have a separate presentation. We do have videos, and usually for trainers, it's a bit more in a simple manner, because trainers' main task would be reading and approving students' work, right? But 80% of the chunk is trainee driven. So if you understand how the trainee is using the system, then it's going to be easy on the either the supervisors or the program coordinators who is managing the system on the other end, right? So let's not waste time. Let's start with the presentation. Again, I think because we have 750 users online, there could be some glitch that some won't be able to see. But please do let us know if you're unable to see. I haven't shared the screen yet, but we will share the screen now shortly. Okay. Let me just try to share the screen and see what. Are you able to see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So before we go into the system, this is the one we were mentioning about the guide, right? So you can get the guide for now under medicine.um.edu.my. If you go under study, you will see ePortfolio as a section. Now in this section, you should see basic introduction. There's two videos. One is a short demo video on what is happening in the ward live, and then how the WBA, the assessment is being keen using the system. And this is a 3-minute short video on the overall on how the system works. So today I will be bringing you a bit more in detail about all the functionality and tabs in the system. But of course, after a few weeks, you need a refresher. You can go through this video to understand where are these buttons and features are. And again, as time goes, there is certain updates that will be happening to the system. So you will see some changes apart from what you're seeing in the video. Okay, and again, Prof. Sharul has already explained the 5 roles, right? We have the university admin, you can put that aside. The program coordinator is the program who manages the program, right? So in order for you to select your rotations and all this, it comes under the program coordinator. If the rotations are not available, or if you can't see the rotation, then again, you'll need not to approach the admin. It's not the IT person you'll need to approach. You'll need to find the program coordinator to select a program. All right, and then there's 2 types of supervisor. One is the education supervisor, and one is the rotational supervisor. The education supervisor will be assigned to you for the entire program that you are in. So an education supervisor will be able to access your work, your whatever assessment that you have done. They can actually view and further actions to be taken. A rotational supervisor will be only able to view your work only for that particular rotation. So if you have 3 rotations and if all 3 rotations are assigned to the same supervisor, then again, he or she can view all 3 rotations, right? But a rotation supervisor is only tied for that specific rotation. And yeah, so these are the 4. And finally, an assessor or an evaluator, right? Sometimes you might have certain assessment or certain WBAs that is not required by your rotational supervisors to assess. You might have someone external that you need their expertise to assess your DOPS or your mini CACs or something like that. We also have that feature, and that user is not required to be part of the system, because I will show you a way on how you will put in the external user's email address and click the submit button. Your assessment form will be sent to the third party via an email link. So when they click, there's a form, they just fill out the form, you do your procedure and submit that. So we have that function as well. So let's go through that tab by tab. Please do stop me. I understand the 700 users again are here. So if you have questions, just put it aside. Maybe at the end of the session, we can revisit those important questions, because the system presentation, it would also take close to 40 minutes, I believe. So let's do that. So this is the page, medicine.um.edu.my/ePortfolio is where you get your login details. Okay, it's ePortfolio.com.my. All right. Currently, it's not tied to This is a system on its own, right? It's not tied to our server in terms of authenticator. We have our own separate authenticator. Currently, we are using your MMC number as your username for trainees. And yes, so if you have password issue, you can reset your password, or you can actually get in touch with our IT officer, which is one again. And some of the important FAQs are in this page. Now let's head on to the system by clicking on ePortfolio.com.my, which okay, right. I think I'm already logged in, so I'm going to just jump onto the screen. So again, when you go into ePortfolio.com.my, you will see a username and password. You just need to hit in your username and your password. It should be given to you. Your username should be your MMC number. And once you log in, your password is password. There's a bit of tweak in the password, but I believe we will email you the information, and then you just need to change your password, right? So username, MMC number, password is login, and then change your password. Now, the moment you log in, you will come into this landing page. Ignore all this writing in this page, but ideally, this is going to be the dashboard. It's again in working progress, but your dashboard is where you're going to see how many assessments you have done, how many WBAs you have done, how many that it was satisfactory, unsatisfactory. So it gives a general overview for the supervisors to kind of understand what is your progress by looking at this dashboard. So a dashboard can only be built once we have sufficient data in the system. So that is one of the reasons, but the dashboard build is in progress. So ignore this. Now on your left-hand side, you'll see these 3 lines. Click on it. You see kind of a list of sections, right, or tabs. Now these are the tabs that you'll need to start off. So now in this system, this is an e-assessment system, right? So the whole idea is that the day-to-day work is going to be your WBAs, your work-based assessment, which includes your DOPS, your mini CACs, your CBD, or any form of assessment. It comes under the WBA. So that is your main task that you will be doing. Is all types of assessment goes in this section here. If you see on the left, WBA. And then at the bottom, you will see procedural logbook, right? For certain programs, you might not have logbook. For some programs, you have logbook. So this is where you will leverage. Logbook is not something, okay, so in WBA is something that you submit, and then you get a person to evaluate, and then the data comes in back, and there's a report. So it's a complete process. But for a logbook, it's like a spreadsheet, like an Excel sheet, right? You just need to log your cases, right? So it's a simple form that you will log and just click add on, and it adds to your record. All right. So there is no kind of approval is required, but at the end of the day, your rotation supervisor will be able to see how much you have done, and based on how much you have done, what are the areas you have done, what are the categories you have done, whether you have observed these operations or whether you have assisted this, and how many you have assisted. So those kind of analytics, it will be able to trigger by keying in your logs here. So you need to put in your date and all those things. So these are the 2 WBA and procedural logbooks are going to be your day-to-day activity in the system. But before you can actually start submitting WBAs and start doing your procedural logbooks, there are three important components that you will need to do at the beginning of the stage once you have access to the system. Number one is your general learning agreement, and then number two is your study plan, and then number three is your rotational agreement. So there are three major components that needs to be done at the very beginning of the stage. All right. So once you have the system, it's important to get general. I'm going to use as GLA, is your general learning agreement, study plan, and your rotational learning agreement. Once you sort these three, right, then you can start your day-to-day activity, which is your WBA and your procedural logbook. Now, these e-portfolio entries are normally, let's say, if you attended certain course or certain courses that you have attended, you will put in here, or certain things that is not apart from WBA, it will be in this particular section. All right, so from top, you'll see your name. You have if I click on account, it's just basic. Okay, before that, just a disclaimer. I am using Nurul Hani's account. So for today's presentation, I am going to use general surgery as a demo. So we are using a live account. So Nurul Hanis is a new student. And so I'm going to use her account, a fresh account, to show you guys how to go through this process. And then later, I have also under general surgery, I have already an account that is already fully populated. We will show you how a populated account will look like. So yes, and again, I also have Prof. Suniza as program coordinator who will be approving this on the other end. But we'll see how it goes, because let's see how it goes, right? As it goes. So I'll try to do as quick as possible on this. So yeah, thanks, Nurul. So now, this is student's account. You'll see your Siswa mail. Now, first thing is account. You can change your password here. And then moving on to my portfolio, this is trainees profile. You have your profile here now. You can drop your pictures and update your profile. My ePortfolio. So these are all new. So these are all records. You will see. Yeah, actually, if you notice, there is supervisor that's been attached. Okay, so certain things has been done. So, okay, basically this will be like kind of general reporting. You can see an overview on who is going to be this is your name, your supervisor 1, your supervisor 2. All right, so again, let's take a step back, right? Earlier I mentioned general learning agreement. We've mentioned study plan, and we've mentioned rotational learning agreement. Now, general learning agreement is tied to educational supervisor. All right, so GLA, education supervisor. Rotational learning agreement, RLA, is tied to rotational supervisor. So you can have the same person as under the general learning agreement, and also the same supervisor as your rotational supervisor. It's just they have two different tasks, right? A rotation supervisor manages only that rotation, whereas a general learning, a GLA, as educational supervisor, they have an overview of your full record. But again, they cannot do approval for those rotations unless that same person is your rotational supervisor. So just remember, GLA is tied to education supervisor. RLA agreement is tied to rotational supervisor. Why this is important? Because we need that handshake. Once the handshake is done, then only the supervisor can view your record. And it's also a way to say that you have given access to that supervisor to look and give those specific approval. So there's a reason when I click on my portfolio, you are already seeing a record has been created by Hanis and supervisor. Okay, and general learning agreement, you can have up to 4 supervisors. This includes KKM supervisor, any external supervisors. Now there is a way to select. There's a drop down. We will select the supervisor's name, and supervisor 1. You have supervisor. You can also add. Let's say you only have one supervisor, and then maybe 2 months or 1 month down the road, you have another supervisor. You can also do that. It's not necessary that you need to add all supervisors at one go. You can just add one supervisor first, or you can add 2 supervisors, and then later on you can add. But a maximum of 4. This includes your external supervisor, internal supervisor, UM, or wherever. So that is your educational. Then again, you have your study plan. Again, study plan has been approved as well. A rotational learning agreement as well has been approved. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to show a fresh account. This account has there is some records happening in. No worries, we can still do it, right? But this shows a good overview of your study plan, your rotational supervisor, and all your assessments, your WBAs are here. Okay, now let's go to notifications. Are basically notifications, right? So you get a notification triggered through your email, you can log in, you have your study plan notification, you have a rotation, and GLA. Put this aside, but GLA, right? Now, notifications are usually when there's an approval made. That means your supervisor has made an approval, you get a notification alert. So that you see under here. Now, statutory documents are documents such as your offer letter, maybe your IC, maybe your MMC documents. So any type of legal document that allows you to practice, it comes under the statutory documents. So this is again notification only, but there is a section. Let me just collapse this and bring you down to let's see, program information. You have your
Sorry, Praha.
Sorry, yes.
Praha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
It's Ismar. I don't know whether you realize, I think some people are having trouble to log in. Maybe you can confirm what are the usernames and the password that they should use. Thank you.
I'll just tell you the password. Where's my notepad? Show how to reset the PASSW. Okay, PASSW ORD123. It's a bit small, Vera. Let me just see if I can. P kecil, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Sometimes it's small p, sometimes capital P, but this is the password for students. Your username is your MMC number. Okay. Okay, capital small p is not working. Just try capital P, but it should be either one. All right. So P password 123, but it's just there's an alias in between. Good. Are we good? Cannot see. No worries. Those who cannot log in, you just hang on, hold tight. We will get back to you. All right. So we will ensure that you have access. Because again, my colleague we need to check the system because we have 700 users today. So we again need to cross check. Maybe there is some or two we would have missed out, or maybe it's there in the record, but there's some other thing that we need to kind of rectify. But if you can log in, we will share you one's contact detail, then later you can send an email or something like that, and we will rectify for you guys. Okay. All right. So as long as you can see the screen, then that's good. Don't worry. Later you have the short video. You can run through the video. It should give you a bit of understanding. So this one is a bit more detailed that I'm going in. The video is just showing you this is what, and what you can do next. Here, this. Okay. All right. So. Okay. So my account, my profile, my portfolio, notifications. Now we go to program information is about your program, which program you are in. And before we go to the first component GLA, I'll just show you the statutory documents. Statutory documents, documents like I said, your offer letter or any other documents. And these documents can be two levels. It can be requested by your program, or it can be requested by the central faculty. So I think for faculty level, we are only asking for offer letters. So it is, let me just see if I can click. Yeah. So Masters of Surgery, if I click, let's see, statutory documents section. Yeah, okay, all right. So this is program offer letter. This is registration certificate. So this one is requested by faculty level, right? Again, we also have by program, but again, that is very specific to program. But most of the program, they are not requesting anything. But if they do, then you will see another drop down here. If they're asking for certain other separate documents that is not requested by the central, right, program offer letter. So here is where you can upload your documents. All right, you see a drop down. You just see if there's offer letter, select the drop down, and then you just need to upload your document. Okay. All right, so that is statutory document. And then, so you've done that part. So let's go to the first component, which is the general learning agreement, right? So I'm going to click on general learning agreement. Now, here in this case, Nurul has already submitted learning agreement. So in that case, we can. So this is how it goes. If you notice here, this is already submitted and status is approved. So if you notice, there's supervisor 1, supervisor 2, supervisor 3, and supervisor 4. So Nurul has submitted to 2 supervisors, which is 1 and 2, and submitted, and again, both has approved. So you have a status as approved. Now, if you have the third supervisor, all right, what do you do? So when you have a third supervisor, you have to click and you have to delete. So when you delete, it deletes again Peng Soon and also deletes Ka Seng. It deletes these 2 supervisors and you need to resend requests to now 3 supervisors. All right. I understand you'll have a question. Why can't we just click add and add on to the supervisors? Again, that's not my rules, but apparently they need every supervisors to be aware who is the third supervisor. Okay, so that's why a reapproval of all 3 will be required. So if you've done 3 and then you have another new supervisor 6 months down the road, again, you have to delete the whole thing and then resubmit and select 4 supervisors. Now, you don't need to submit 4 times. When I click on, let's see if I can click on, there should be a Go button. General learning. I can't seem to see the view button. There used to be a view button here, but oh wait, let's see. Is it? Yeah, it's here. Okay, it's at the end. So if I click on view, all right. So this is then a generic agreement. So you will see a drop down to select for supervisor 1, a drop down to select for supervisor 2, another drop down, and another drop down. So this form has already been submitted and approved. But if you have if you're going to submit for your third supervisor, you will need to click this, click delete, then automatically you'll get a new button to recreate or to re-add supervisors. So when you re-add supervisors, you should see 4 drop-downs in this section. Then you select. So you search. You can't type their name. You have to search. You have to search for Peng Soon. The name should filter for you, and then you select. Now, what if the name when you search is not there? So if it's not there, that means, number 1, it's not in our database, right? So you can get in touch with the program per se, or directly get in touch with one. If it's under you can always get in touch with one. But these are the 2 people. So usually this is a process, right? So one thing we need to understand is a new system. So we are also building the infrastructure in terms of the process or the backend flow. So usually it has to go through the program. Then when you inform the program should then inform to the IT person, and then we will get the thing updated and checked, right? And then after that, it goes back to the program and goes back to the student. But sometimes I understand it goes through shortcut that, student directly goes to the IT and then we make the changes. And then, so we will slowly trying to avoid those kind of confusion. The proper way is you get in touch with the program will get in touch with whoever is required to get that drop down appearing. Okay, so when you search, if there's no name, do not panic. You just need to get in touch with us and we will need to check. Once we check, the name will trigger, then you can search. So KKM members name list is also in this drop down. All right. So if it's not there, again, we will need to check because sometimes we are also getting updated lists from KKM. So that also takes time for us to upload. So just it's best to always do this very at the beginning of the stage. Do not delay at the last minute and then you realize, okay, the supervisor name is not appearing. So it's always best to get all this sorted first. All right, but minimum you need to have one supervisor in order to proceed for your assessment or other component that you want to do. Minimum must have one. All right, so you'll have this drop down. You just need to add, choose some. There's some options here. You just need to put certain things. Then scroll all the way down. You sign and then you submit. Once you submit, Peng Soon and Ka Seng will get an email notification. They'll need to log in. They will see your name, Nurul Hanis, there appearing on their dashboard. They will require to either approve or reject. If they reject, they will reject with a comment. So the comment can be, I'm going on sabbatical, or I'm going on leave, please get in touch with the program coordinator to make those changes. So those kind of comments will come in, all right? So an email will be sent to whichever supervisors that you have selected, and done, voila, you will get it approved, right? So when you go to your general learning agreement, you should see this approval status, right? If it's not approved, then you just see the comment and then work according to the comment, all right? So once you have submitted the name, your supervisor has made the approval, automatically your supervisors he or she will have access to your records, right? In their dashboard, they can click your name and the whole record will be displayed on your on their dashboard, right? Okay. So I hope there's no questions. So let's move on. It's going to be 3. So let's move on. So GLA. Right. Next, we will move on to study plan. These are the most, I would say, the most heavy lifting happens here. GLA is very straightforward. You just select supervisors, click submit, it gets approval and done. But study plan is where you plan out your studies, right? Now, when we do study plan, it's always it's a plan. It's not something that it's a fixed thing. So it can be changed. So it's very flexible for you to change, and it's also very flexible for you to create a study plan. Now, if we click on study plan, we will see create study plan, and we also see a study plan list. Now, for Nurul, she has already created her study plan, right? So if I'm going to click on create, if I click on study plan list, you will see program Masters of Surgery for year 1. Resubmitted is in progress, and then Master of Surgery year 2. This has been approved by, of course, Prof. Suriza, because she is the program coordinator. Now, here you can view, and here is option is for you to resubmit. Now, it's a plan, as I said. So if in between a few months down the road, there's any change in your plan, you click on resubmit and you can make changes. Again, everything that you make changes for study plan, it goes to program coordinator for approval. Anything, all right? Even changing the duration, it requires pre-submission. So it's always ideal to plan out your rotation, and then one shot program coordinator can make the approval. But again, things change all the time. So this is the section. Now, year 2 is approved. Year 1 is under resubmitted status. So no worries. So what we'll do is, okay, before we click on view, if you click on, if for first timer, you click on create study plan, you will choose your year, right? Year 1 or year 2. Now I can't choose year 1 and click next. There will be an error message because year 1 has already been created. I can't choose year 2, but I can choose year 3. So this is the same thing. You click on this, there'll be a step-by-step process. But ideally, how it's going to work, it's very similar. So if I'm going to click on the study plan list, and let's go to view, right? Let's view first on what we have on year 1. So if I'm going to click on year 1, now let's scroll down a little. Now, so what we have here in year 1, we have breast surgery for 3 months rotation under PPUM. And then we have endo, we have upper, and we have vascular. So again, Nurul has planned out for year 1. So she has 4 rotations. Sequencing, she can rearrange the sequence. She can choose she wants to do vascular here, and then maybe breast too. So this is the sequencing that I will show you, in just a minute. All right, but this is kind of the look of it, right? And then if you scroll down, this is just audit trail. And again, here, if you notice, this is view, this is edit. Let's see. On view, yeah, okay. On view, on further details, what you will see is now in this rotation in endocrine, program coordinator or the program per se, you have this task. You have case-based discussion, minimum of 2 or more is up to you. DOS 2, PBAs 2. So these requirements are all done by program coordinator. So you can further see all this, right, in your study plan. Now, let's go back one step. All right, go back one step. Okay, now, that was view, right? Okay, so under view, we have 1 has been approved. Now, doesn't matter if it's approved or things that has been resubmitted or waiting for approval, you can choose to make changes. This is resubmitted, so that means Prof. Suniza has not approved yet. It's fine. I decide to make some more changes, so I can click on resubmit, right? Now, when I click on resubmit, I have these options here, right? So if you notice, okay, here you will see fixed rotation and you will see flexible rotation. Now, if I click the plus sign, it's for me to add rotations. Now, there's nothing here. It means the program does not need you to select any of, that means there's no rotation under fixed. All right, the difference between the fixed and flexibles are usually the hospitals, right? So for now, let's not complicate ourselves. Put the fixed rotation aside. Let's go to this particular rotation now. If I click on, so you can see here 4 rotations, and I believe you can see cross sign for these 3. And then you will see there's no cross sign here. That is, okay, I will explain that. Now, before that, now, if you're going to add a rotation, you need to click this plus sign. So when I click on this plus sign, you will see a list of rotations. So now I'm going to choose the same rotation again. Sometimes you can have the same rotation, like general surgery, you can do it multiple times. So you can choose general surgery multiple times. So in this case, I'll just show a scenario because there is breast surgery here. So let's choose the same thing again. All right, let's say you choose breast surgery, and these are all fixed by program coordinator. This can be changed. This is a separate training on how to edit this by the program coordinator. In this case, for students, you guys, this is 3 months. This is the code year 1. All right, so I'm just going to click submit. So what happens is it gets added here, right? But at this point, you are unable to add hospitals. So this section is going to be happening on the next page, which is save and next. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. All right, and now you have an option. You accidentally entered this in, so you can choose to delete. Right, so you can choose to click OK, and you can choose to edit the one that you have already added in. So if I click, or you have to close this, and you can't edit this. Sorry, so this is view mode. Right, so let me just cancel this. I want to see this. Let's click on the one that is submitted. So anyway, I'm not going to touch much because I think it's a live account, right? But this is where you will click the plus icon, choose your rotation. All right, when you choose a rotation, you click on submit. All right, when you click on submit, on the save and next option, there's 3 things you have an option. You'll have an option to choose your hospital, whether it's in PPUM or in HKL, you choose your hospital. And also you'll have another option to choose your sequence. All right, sequence 1, or this is the rotation I'm going to do the second round or the third round. You click save and next, and then once all that is done, you just click submit. Okay, so let's not click save and next because then this will be added in. I just don't want to do that, right? Because everything there's going to be an audit trail. So let's not. But this is how you create a study plan. Okay, so this is approved. So if I click resubmit, and if I make any sort of changes here now, and I click save and next, automatically this status will change to resubmitted status. This one, I'm still safe to make changes now, but I think I'm not. But yeah, I can still do changes because it's already in the resubmitted stage. So again, to just recap, resubmit, you can add your rotations here. So again, all these rotations has to be pre-planned by your program. All right, you don't come in here and then only you want to plan, oh, I'm going to do this, because be aware that some programs or most of the programs, they have already planned your rotation. So they say, right, jangan pandai-pandai. So if you pandai-pandai do, and then again get rejected, and then you have to redo again. So check again with your program. Sometimes the program has given you the list. This is going to be your first one, second one. Sometimes they've planned it because they don't want clash to happen. So what you do once you go back home, then you click plus, you select, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Click add, then again click this is what I'm going to do, one by one. Once you've added your list, then you click save and next. Then you select your hospital, you select what is the sequence, you're happy with whatever your program coordinator has planned for you, you click submit. All right, automatically an email notification will be sent to your program coordinator, and he or she will go through, and she realizes there's something that you did not follow, she will reject with a reason. It comes back to you, you make the changes, and then resubmit again back. Now again, program coordinator might have 30 or 40 students, so the more mistakes the team makes, then it takes time for he or she to approve. So that part you have to approach your program coordinator. So we'll work on that. And also again, we have a lot of changes as a developer to make certain changes in logistics. Currently, there can be only one program coordinator. I mean, ideally, yes, it's one program coordinator, but we want to see how to add more than one. So if one program coordinator is on leave, there's another program coordinator can do that. But yeah, it's all in working progress. So we are changing the system and improving based on all the feedbacks that we are getting here. So thank you for the patience that you have as we develop this whole program or the system based on this program, right? So let's move on. This is study plan. Now, once you've done your study plan, so general learning agreement is done. Study plan is done. So when I click on study plan list, you should get your year 1, year 2, and when you view your study plan for year 1 or year 2, let's click on year 2 because this is approved, all right? Year 2, you should see all your study plan is beautifully listed, PITS, PLS, PITS, plastic, Euro, and Euro, all right? Remember this, right? We'll be seeing this now on the next rotation. So we have in year 2, PITS, plastic, Euro, and Euro. All right. So let's move on to rotational learning agreement. Now, you can never do rotational learning agreement without getting a study plan. Okay, I confirm this again. You will not be able to do any rotation here without your study plan approval. If your study plan is in the resubmission status or still in the pending status, you won't see the rotation list here. The rotation list will only appear based on what is happening in your study plan, right? So if I click on, let's see here, there's nothing here. This is to start. Let's see, rotation. Okay, so now I want to submit a rotation. I want to start a rotation, right? So earlier, why you're seeing 4? Because 4 is approved rotation, right? Year 2 is approved. Thanks to this is perfect example to show everyone actually. So if you notice in your study plan here, you notice there's year 1 which is resubmitted, year 2 that is already been approved. So because it has already been approved, you will see your under rotational learning agreement. Right. So again, study plan is just a plan. You don't state start date, end date. You don't put this here. All right. You're just telling that I'm going to do this rotation. I don't know when, but this rotation is going to happen after neuro and then next urologist and all that. But you've planned that. But you have not initiated when is the start date and end date. Although you know it's a 3-month rotation. So the start date and end date will happen on the rotational learning agreement section. Now, when I click on submit a rotational learning agreement, again, you will see 4 rotations here, right? Why 4? Is because year 2 has been approved, year 1 has not been approved. If year 1 has been already approved, then you will see 8 rotations here. Now, once your study plan has been approved, then only you can create rotational learning agreement. Without that approval, you will not see any of this. It's just purely blank, right? GLA is still optional. GLA, it doesn't tie to anything, but study plan ties to your rotation. No study plan approved by program coordinator, rotational can never take place, right? So now in this case, we have 4 rotations that is in place. And another thing, once the rotation is active, you cannot go back to your study plan and make any changes anymore. All right. Remember when I mentioned under study plan, I want to make changes, I can still make changes. I can click on resubmit and make changes. But if the rotation is active, if I'm not mistaken, this is an active rotation or something is activated here, you will not see a cross sign. You can't cross once you have already inputted the start date and end date and it's already activated. Yeah. Okay. So again, do not panic and do not think that what happened, I think system is a glitch because there's no cross sign. The reason is because this is an active rotation in the system. So you cannot go make changes when something is already running, right? But for this 3, you still can delete all this and update the rotation and you can still proceed, right? Okay, so just going back now to the rotation page. I have 4 rotations. All right, so now in this case, let me just also have a look at, okay. You have submit rotation learning agreement, that is this page. Then you have rotational learning agreement, which is start. Okay, in this section is where you will put in your start date. And I think this section is where you start the rotation. When you're ready, there's a button, you click and then you click start. Automatically the rotations get activated. And then this is just a history of the list of rotations. So if I click on the history, yes, correct. Breast surgery, there is an active rotation that is happening, which is active. That is the reason why in study plan you don't see the cross sign, because this is an active rotation, which is active. Okay, so start date is 3/6. Okay, so if I click on view, you just see an overall. This is year 1 has been activated, right? Why year 1 has been activated? So that means initially year 1 has already been approved. The rotation has been activated, but I believe the rotation 2 or rotation 3, there's a bit of changes that Nurul need to make. So that's why you see a resubmission status, right? So the reason why you don't see under rotational, you don't see the year 1 here. Number 1 is because it's under resubmission status. But again, before it got resubmitted, it was approved. So Nurul has started rotation 1, right? And then only the changes for the 3, 4, 5. So that's what now is currently under resubmission. So automatically the other 3 rotations are missing from here, right? But once that is approved, that 3 rotation will trigger on this page automatically. Okay, but 1 rotation, year 1 has been activated. That's why we notice that you cannot edit or delete the study plan in the breast surgery rotation, right? I hope everyone is able to follow, right? So let's go back to submit a rotation, right? So when you submit a rotation, now if you're going to do your following rotation, you're going to click on, I'm just randomly just going to click create RLA. So when I click on create RLA, now here you don't see how many assessment I need to do. It is because I think it's year 2. So I think they are working on the year 1. So the program coordinator just works on year 1, year 2 later. So but once program coordinator has updated the year 2, you will see what you need to do, what are the WBAs you need to do. It appears here. Now here is where all trainees will choose your start date. You can choose a backdated date. We did not put any curfew. Initially, we did some lock in the system, but we realized sometimes students only put the backdated date because they kind of, it's like 2-3 days ahead, then only they're starting their rotation. So we did not impose any kind of lock. You can put backdated dates, but just be careful. Whatever you start is 3 months from there. There's no calculation. We did not make this complex. So you calculate your June. If you put in June, then you choose 3 months from June, right? So you plan that, because once you submit, it's very hard to go and edit. And once you start the rotation, it's very hard to make changes. You have to get back to program has to get back to IT, we cannot change on our end. We have to go one more step higher to go make the changes, and we need to check why we need that to be unlocked. All right, so all that we will need to have reasons why. So please confirm your start date and end date, write a comment and save. All right, once you've done that, again, what happens is if you notice this section, Prof Shireen N is the rotational supervisor. Of course, it's not written rotational here, but this is rotational supervisor, Shireen N. So the moment you click on save, an email will be sent to Prof Shireen to get approval. So she will give a request from you, from Nurul, that the rotation is going to start, what are the dates and all that, and she will need to accept. And once she accepts, then you can officially start your rotation, which is under here. So when you go on rotational learning agreement, you will see a start button. Now, once you submit, Prof Shireen N needs to approve, then the list will appear here. Then you start your rotation. Okay, that's all. So now, this is the process. All right, so this is the process. So learning agreement, study plan, you get your rotation submitted, approved by supervisor, and then you starting your rotation. Once that is done, then only you can start your day-to-day activity. Now I'm going to submit an assessment. I have a WBA to submit. I will want to submit a WBA, my first WBA. I mean, of course, Nurul has done more. So I'm going to click plus. Then I'm going to click on. So Nurul has done 5. She has 5 WBAs has been done. But now I'm going to do one submission. I'm not going to do a submission. I'm just going to show you how to do the submission. So I click on submit workplace-based assessment. And yeah, this is basic information, doc, right, no rule and all that. Now I'm going to select, there's 2 drop downs here. I'm going to select, so these are the forms. So you need to know what are, So, okay, this is Masters of Surgery. So we have also trained all programs. They have their own specific form. All right. So their program, they will only see their form appearing. So in general surgery, you will see PBAs. If you go to ONG, there'll be OSATs, right? So you will see OSATs forms there. So different program, there is similarity, but the questions in the form are all different. But you as a trainee or you as a student, your task here is to select what are the forms that you would want to get yourself assessed. All right. So if you are doing PBAs, for this case, you choose PBA stoma. All right. You choose the form. All right. And then rotation. Notice now you can see breast surgery. Why you can see breast surgery as a rotation? Because this is an active rotation. Without activating, so without submitting, getting supervisor to approve and activating a rotation, you will not see that drop down. Another component, right? Another thing that we've also added, you can have 2 active rotations, but not more than 2. Again, I understand there is certain programs that they have very short period of rotation. We will look into that, but okay, in general, why we set 2 active rotation at one time is because sometimes your first rotation you're doing, you're almost finishing your first rotation. All right, but then suddenly your supervisor is away for 1 week, right? So, and you need to start your second rotation. So we allow you to already activate and start your second rotation. So you can go on with your second rotation, but you have to make sure to push your first rotation to be closed. Because once you've done your second rotation and you plan to go to your third rotation, the system will tell you an error because you have not closed your first rotation. All right, so we have given you a bit of a leeway that you can start your second rotation while waiting your first rotation to be closed, and you can proceed with the second rotation. So reason why we impose this, because in the earlier stage, we realized student started all the rotation, put start date, end date, everything start. So all activated form. And then halfway first rotation finished, then we realized all needs to be changed. And we cannot go back to the study plan to make changes because everything has been activated. So then we realized we cannot do that method. We have to stick and give a maximum of 2 active rotation at one point. So 1 rotation can be a leeway that you're waiting for that to be closed by your rotation supervisor while you can already start your second rotation, right? So in this case, student is doing the first rotation active, so they click on breast surgery. Now, when you click on breast surgery, you will see your start date and end date. Now, there is also rotations that you have general surgery for first rotation, second rotation, so general surgery, third rotation, so general surgery, fourth rotation, so general surgery. So in that case, you will see the drop down for general surgery. I mean, okay, like 2. You will see 2 general surgery, and you might get confused which general surgery are you submitting your assessment for. So when you choose that, you see your start date and your end date. From there, you should be able to identify which rotation section the general surgery that you are submitting for. All right. This is for those who are submitting the same name or the same rotation. Okay, so that's how you will differentiate if you have 2 same name of the rotation. By selecting the rotation, your start date, your start period and end period will change. With that, you can already know which rotation you're submitting for. So you don't make errors by submitting to the wrong rotation. This will more likely happen when you have same names, multiple rotations, like for example, general surgery. Now, moving on. So you have selected your PBA forms. Okay, I want to do PBA, and you have selected your rotations. You have selected start and end. Now, this is where I spoke where in the very beginning, you have assessor name and assessor email. All right. So now you have an assessor that is not Prof N, although she's your rotational supervisor, but let's say Prof N, Prof Shireen is not going to assess you for this PBA, for example. All right. So this is someone, Prof, I don't know, maybe Maya from the hospital or certain equipment that needs to be done. They don't need to have access to the system. So what you can do is you just need to get the assessor's name, all right? And then you put the assessor's email address, right? So this is totally external, right? They don't need to have access to the system. They can be from KKM. You put their name, you put their email address, all right? Okay, and another thing, coincidentally, let's say your rotational supervisor is also going to be your assessor for this PBA, then again, you have to also put your rotational supervisor's email address. It does not mean this is your rotational supervisor is Shireen, you just leave this blank. No, you still have to put their email address. Okay, so it works for internal and it works for external. So whether it's internal or whether it's people who's external, whoever you want them to evaluate your PDA forms, put in the name, put in their email address, and next part is what is the subject about your PDA, clinical details. You can write as long paragraph or anything. We don't have templates for this. Maybe in future we can impose certain sort of drop-down templates for students so that you have a bit of a template to fill in names, fill in, patient diagnose or all that, before you submit. We can impose those things. But for now, it's just a blank screen. You cannot insert table. It's not that edited, the edit option, but you can write down your details, clinical details, and click save. Now, when you click save, what happens is an email will be sent to the person that you're keyed in here. All right. And what happens is the assessor opens the email inbox. There will be like so-and-so student Nurul has submitted an assess on problem-based assessment on stomach construction. Kindly click to evaluate. So there is actually a form. I'm not going to show you the form because again, we need to submit a form and go through the process, but there is a form. So this form is designed based on my program. So for PBA, it's their form. So again, the assessor will go through the forms. There's the rubrics, and as a trainee, you can do what you need to do. The assessor will mark those things. Once the assessor marks and then clicks the submit button, that data will come back into your system, and that's it. That's the end of the assessor. They cannot make changes because they cannot edit. Once the form is submitted, it's submitted. There's no edit access. That's done. Right. So again, if you have any feedback or any of the things you need changes in those kind of areas, let me know. We will kind of make changes. But for now, once the assessor fills up the assessment form, hits the submit button, the form is closed. Again, when they try to click the link, it will say that you can't open the link anymore. All right. That's going to be for security reasons. We won't allow to open the link or to make any further edits. And that is how you submit. So what happens is assessor makes the submission, that's completed and done. So let's now look at Nurul's work-based assessment that has been submitted, right? So these are some of the assessment that has been submitted, right? So we have, I think she's done 5, she's done DOS, docs. Okay, so all this has been done. So this one is to resubmit because I think the assessor has not opened the email. So you have an option to resubmit. Resubmitting means you have an option to change the email address. Maybe you have entered a wrong email address. Now you go here, you click resubmit, you can update the email address. That can be done. So if I'm going to click, let's see. Yes. So I'm just going to move very fast. So this is the form, right? So this is the word. So you put your clinical details, and then this form goes to the assessor, right? So assessor puts in comment and all that. So and then global summary, you have assessor comment, you have approval. Then finally there is an approval called rotational supervisor. Now, rotational supervisor, we've assigned a rotational supervisor, one rotational supervisor for one rotation. But that does not mean that rotational supervisor has to do all your assessment. No, you can go all out everywhere and get all your assessment done. But at the end of the 3 months, it is the rotational supervisor's job to go through the rotations to just check that you have done to the extent that they require to their level, right? If they realize that, hey, this assessor you put in, this one is a student, is an assessor, then they will highlight it to you. Okay, so the rotational supervisor has a bit of a bigger task to kind of make sure that all the rotation is legit that you have done, because you see the email address is currently open. All right, so you can put any email address, right? You can put your friend's email address and get your assessment done, right? But of course, there is ethics and all that. But yeah, we kept it open to reduce complex, to reduce issues, right? Imagine if we were going to put everything fixed, and then you drop down, and then the assessor's name is not in the list. Then you need to get back to your program, get back to us. We need to update that, and by that time, you will say this system is a horrible system. So we're trying to not put that. So you can put in any email address, any name, and then submit. But again, we have this final check, which is rotational supervisor, to kind of have a look at, to make sure that all the supervisors is kind of within, he or she knows. If she's not sure, she'll just, the supervisor can just check with you on those things. But final comment at the end of the 3 months or the end of your rotation, the rotational supervisor will give the final remark and close the rotation. All right, so this is how you will see your own form, and also the rotational supervisor can see all this. But for any of these certain sections like approval by rotation, is only available for rotational supervisor. Educational supervisor cannot make comments, only rotational supervisor. So this is the process. All your history will be here. This is assessment submitted, still pending. Assessment completed, which is considered 1 has been done, 2 has been done. Now, all this is just currently, it's just a list format. We would want to bring this to a dashboard format, right? We have the data now slowly coming in. We will show how many assessment has been done. It should come up in the graphical design, which is, this is not going to be a complex part. The complex part for us as a developer to understand what are the data we are having and what are the graphs that we want to put in and impose. So with the data that we have, we will come up with something more user-friendly kind of things where you see is what you want to see. It's not everything that we want to show you, right? So just give us some time on the analytics part, but slowly record is coming in. So this is the WBA process. You submit a WBA, you select your rotation, you select your form, you put in your clinical details. If your assessor is the same person or your education supervisor, put in again their email address, click submit, form goes to them via email. They fill out the form, they submit the form. Of course, an assessor, they cannot see what they have submitted, but a rotational supervisor, your educational supervisor can see your record, can see how you have done your WBAs, right? So that is WBA. And finally, this is very short. Finally is, of course, your logbook, right? Your procedure logbook. Certain programs have logbooks, right? So if you click on create a logbook, all right? So this is a surgery logbook. You can have it for any other programs can use a logbook, right? Everything, we have kind of standardized everything. So you have, I'm sorry for patient name, but we are planning to remove this. But at the meantime, please do not key in patient's name because we understand that a lot of PNC confidentiality is there. So patient registration number apparently is okay. So no patient's name should be shared. So rotation, again, you will see breast surgery as a rotation because this is the active rotation. So for logbook is quick. You just choose your rotation, registration number, age, diagnose. You select your hospital as 1. Procedure date. Okay, you can put backdated date. This was a procedure that I've done yesterday. Category. Now, this is for surgery. So they have their own specific category. So you've done for, let's say it's breast and endocrine. So you select that category. This also is something to do with all the programs. So we followed what the program's requirement, yearly skills as observed or not known. And then I think the role is whether you've observed or whether you've assisted or whether you perform independently. Okay, this one is type, right? Okay, so I'll just show you. This procedure and operation and this category, they are typed. So because I choose breast, you will get this list, right? All the breast related operations. So if I choose on colorectal, then you'll see the colorectal list. All right. So there is a main category and a subcategory based on the drop down. Reason why this is so important is for analytics purpose. So later we will have a very nice dashboard. We will show you how many colorectals you have done, and within the colorectals, what are the sections that you have done, and within that, whether you've done how many observed, how many assists, how many performed with, all that we can come up with a graph. So you can also evaluate your performance and what are the date of operations. So in the remarks, you can write, or your diagnose, you can write anything that you want. All right. But the keyword is this and this. Now, if there is names that you think is not in the list, again, you just need to get back to the program coordinator. We will get the list updated because all this is within our power to update as when it goes. So program coordinator can make those updates. They can make those changes for all this. So, and this form is the same throughout all programs. The difference here is this list will be reflecting to your program, right? Because this is a surgery program, so it's a surgery list. If it's a ONG program, there's an ONG list. All right, if it's auto, then it's the auto type. And it can be just only category. They might not have all this. Okay, if you don't have this, you just put not applicable, there will be an option, or just leave it blank. But you will need to choose one category. Again, it all depends on the program. The drop down will appear based on what your program wants. Okay, all right. So all this will be only available. You can only see this. Again, you can only click create when your study plan and your rotational learning agreement has been approved. If you log in now to your system, you might be able to log in, but everything looks blank and certain things you can't even open because it says it requires study plan approval, it requires rotational approval. There is a bit of a requirement that we've put there, so you might not see this page. But once you have done, if you go to procedural logbook list, okay, so there's none has been added yet, but once has been added, you will see an entire list of the work. Again, this is where we want to do an analytics to show you in a graph manner, but this will be something similar like in an Excel sheet or a Google spreadsheet, right? The list of the name and information. There's certain things that we might need to change, like we don't want, certain things we will add more stuff here. We will change this as it goes. We need feedback, and I think there's a lot of things we are also concurrently improving, not only the security, also the features, the functions. So as you have any changes, one is here to not only just assist to troubleshoot, but also to take feedback and write down this feedback, and then we will engage with our developers and kind of improve those changes for you guys. So ePortfolio is straightforward. I'm not going to go, but ePortfolio is also like a form. You select your form, it's an entry, let's say CPD or this one. You select your form, and then you choose your date, you upload your form, and then that's it. It's a record. It's a record keeping. Basically, this is a record keeping. So you have attended certain calls, you have attended some SPSS calls, something external. You would want to keep this in your record. You keep this under the ePortfolio section, not under the WBA, right? So your day-to-day activity, plus logbooks, ePortfolio entries, WBA. All right, okay, that's it. Your beginning of this starting of this whole process, RLA, study plan, GLA. So there's two parts. The beginning RLA, GLA, RLA study plan. Then the day-to-day activity is WBA, ePortfolio entries, and logbook. So this completes the entire system of ePortfolio. So is there any questions that anyone would like to ask? Or it's too overwhelming? We have the video, but yes. Thank you. So let's have questions.
Let me check what's.
Yeah, let's check the inbox. Where do we go there? Okay, that's that. The team will tell us how to do. Do not need to redo them. Wait, this is, okay, Prof is replying, okay. Anyone wants to ask any questions, please do. Okay, I know, because it's just a lot, I'm just seeing the question, so apologize.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Hamitra from the PITS department. Actually, I just want to ask a question regarding the rotational learning agreement, because we have 4 in the flexible rotations. Who is our supervisor, and then how do we know which is the supervisor and which are the sequencing for PITS department?
Okay, so to know who is going to be your rotational supervisor and what is the sequencing, it's always best to get in touch with the program. Either the program coordinator would have planned it out, or if the program coordinator says it's free to choose which one you want to do first, which one you want to do second, then you head on to the system and choose, okay, I want to do this as PITS, this one is number 1, this is number 2, but you will only have limited selections. Your selections are going to be based on what the program has given you the list. So when you click on resubmit, you will click this small green plus icon. This selection of the type of rotation is whatever the program coordinator has listed here, right? So you can choose. So again, to know which rotations that you're going to do, like I said, refer to the program, get confirmation with the program, because they've already planned out what is your first rotation you're going to start, what is your second, or you need to discuss with your program. Once you get that confirmed, then only you come to the system and select your program, and then you click submit. Of course, here when you submit, you cannot add, okay, the rotation, okay, there's 2 things, right? I don't want to click save and next. I can't show you the next page, but once you click save and next, you have three options, not two, three options. Number one, you will choose your hospital. Number two, you will choose the rotation supervisor. Now again, the rotation supervisor that you're choosing for the rotation, get confirmation from your program. All right, if your program says you can choose any rotational supervisor, then you are free to choose, but get confirmation. And then the third thing is sequencing is basically what you want to do first rotation, when you're going to start, and then when you're going to start the second rotation. So there's a bit of a planning before keying into the system. Then only you put into the system. So once you click Save and Next, you'll give you an option to select your sequence, to select your hospital, and also to select your rotational supervisor. All right, so and this selection, once you click Submit, it goes to Program Coordinator again for approval. So Program Coordinator will have to cross-check whatever I've given to them. Is it what they have already keyed in or not? All right, they have to cross-check. There's no email yet. There's no notification that will go to the rotational supervisor yet. Rotational supervisor will only receive notification when you are officially activating the rotational section that I showed you earlier. Once you're officially doing the rotation section only, the rotational supervisor will get an email notification trigger. But till then, your study plan section is where you will plan out, you will put in the rotational supervisor name here. And to know that is to refer back to the program.
Thank you. I just asked in the group regarding who is the supervisor, and then I was told to ask directly during this session. So I'm not quite.
No, you can't, because this one gives you the list of the rotations, but you will not know which rotation you want to select. So whatever you select, it goes back to the to the program coordinator. So if you planned out your own way, it might get rejected from the program coordinator, and she might say, please come and visit me, or please change this to this and do the adjustment accordingly. And then you need to do the resubmission. So so this is just like an entry section, but it doesn't show you the tables or those plans. Those plans has to be further discussed with the program.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. K from Hospital Umum Sarawak, Kuching. Can I know who's the one populating the list of supervisors? Because I'm from KKM and I have 15 supervisors in my place. I can imagine that if every hospital has 15, who do we contact to populate the supervisors list for my center?
Sorry, so we have to go through the Ketua Jabatan first, is it? And then they send it to us. So usually
has that been done already? Because I have not submitted anything. So I will presume that when a trainee logs into Center for Hospital Umum Sarawak Kuching, they will not be able to find any supervisors.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
so when is the timeline for populating the supervisors list?
Actually, we on the IT side, we have a communication. So this is how our communication. We are from the IT sector. So we have the Dean's office. So Dean's office are also so we have a Google Sheet that we are sharing. So when the Google Sheet gets updated, we are automatically uploading the names. But again, according to my colleague Maya, which is from the Dean's office, you get requests from Ketua Jabatan.
We get the information from the department.
So we request the department or department?
We request from the department.
So apparently we are requesting from the department, including KKM.
Oh, that will be done after this briefing, is it?
Oh, this is KKM staff.
Tapi Jabatan UM yang update.
Oh, so it's Jabatan UM update. So that means. So
but
you're
I have not been
KKM?
asked yet. Yeah, I'm from KKM, and then because we are putting the cart before the horse, so we are getting this briefing. But then my center has not given its list of supervisors, and I think my supervisors cannot log in. And I think some of this doesn't make sense to us when we are not in the system.
Database for the department.
Yeah, including the KKM ones.
Yeah. So I think maybe we should.
Apparently we have all the records because it's coming from a central database, including all the KKM staff. But So most likely that's why they've not requested you, but I guess the records should be in.
They can send their supervisor to the department, and the department will update that Google Sheet. So instead of
Even KKM stuff.
I think this is the first
Okay,
time that we are hearing of the ePortfolio. That's why some of these things are totally new to us. And when you say that, when you click and a supervisor will come out in your center, but my center has not sent anything. So I can imagine that there will be other centers that have not sent anything or been contacted to populate the system.
Right. Yes, I understand. Yeah, because okay. Can you share me your email address and we will get in touch with you on the.
I think, can you get the coordinator to contact all the heads of department in KKM hospitals, so that instead of me doing one thing and Pulau Pinang doing another and Selayang doing another, so that
okay.
Yeah, I think the administrator needs to get that sorted out, because right now I'm sure that whatever email I try to log in or password, I will not be in the system because I have not offered my own email or login to any administrator at this point of time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely, I think this is one major work that we will have to do. I think to get the account created, and I understand, Prof. So it's not going to be easy, but again, this is very more like the management part. We will discuss with, Prof. Sarolga, we need to see what's the flow, because again, we need to go back to Jabatan and all that. We will look into that and we'll try to see how we can get that sorted. Thank you.
Okay. Can I just also ask if this only pertains to the master students from or throughout the UKM, USM conjoined board universities as well?
Okay, so now this system is not tied to right? This is a standalone system. So inside this system,
the call letter was from Are the other university students also mandated, or is it compulsory to use the system, or can they continue with their paper portfolios, like let's say UKM or USM?
Okay, so currently is where the student enroll. If the student enrolls in then they use the system, because currently we have our container called Unisim Layer container. Of course, the system then later on you'll have a UKM, then USM. I mean, there will be their own container. We will get their system administrator to manage that.
I see. Portfolio. Okay.
So
currently it's only students.
Yeah. So if the student is currently a UKM student, then they can't use the system yet. But once, I think there needs to be another discussion, because we build the system in such a way there is other universities will come in, and then there's other administrator will manage that containers. So in this part, we are just doing the one, but the flow, everything is the same. Just the change of the PBA questions will be all customized to that university. So we will have that university as well appearing in. So so currently it's only the students who's going around KKM and different hospitals to do their application.
All right then. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Can I stop sharing?
Hello.
Okay.
Sorry, just one question. I'm Fidos from Physical. I got an issue regarding to start the rotation. For the rotation agreement already approved, but then I was unable because they said you cannot have two active rotation.
Yeah.
So how do we want to deactivate the previous rotation? Do I need to ask the previous supervisor to deactivate
the rotation? Yeah, you will need to ask your first supervisor to close the rotation, then you can automatically activate your third rotation.
Okay.
If we can have two active rotation, so you need to contact your first supervisor to close the rotation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Once they close, it's settled. You can automatically start your third rotation, because your second is still going on, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Abimal, he just want to ask because we have, I'm from Hospital Umum Sarawak because the supervisors list is not updated yet from University Hospital Umum Sarawak, right? So we haven't started our rotation, but already 3 months into PITS. So which means if later on when we already have our supervisors list, so my first one, I will have the first 3 months rotational supervisor to approve everything. Once they already log out, then only I can put in the new supervisor, is it?
You mean you are unable to select because you can't see the supervisor's name in the list select?
Yes, yes.
Okay, if you can't see the name list appearing in the drop down, you mean that is something on our side that we will need to check. Yeah, can you send us an email? Okay, I'm going to share. Where's that screen earlier one? Can we share the screen of his contact details and his email? We need emails. I need you all to send me emails for things that if you can't see the supervisor name, because for you to, like for study plan or rotation or all this, when you select the drop down, the name should appear. If the name is not appearing, then we need a bit more details in terms of which program you are in, what's the name of spoil, as much details as we can, so that then we can backtrace whether have we uploaded this name list, or is this name list pending, or is this name list haven't come to our hand. So we need to do some cross-check work. So we will share you one's contact details shortly, and then just send us an email on the details that you're unable, your issues, and if you're unable to see, just let us know, because in order to proceed in the system, you must select supervisor from the drop down. So if you're not seeing from the drop down, it means the name is not updated. There's two things: either the name is not uploaded in the system, or the tagging is not right. Because sometimes we tag them, maybe they're program coordinator, we tag them educational supervisor, but we did not tag them as a rotational supervisor. So we need to check that as well. So do send us an email. So yeah, so it's one Ahmad and one Udina.
And also this is including the general learning agreement also, is it? Because in my general it's also not the drop down list, don't have any of my university hospital Umum Sarawak's list lah.
Yeah, do let us know if they are KKM, external KKM staff, or is it a staff?
They are KKM staff.
Okay, so just, and if you have, you just let us know whether they are KKM, because we have two separate database that we are managing. One, we are populating the KKM staff and external staff. Another one is for the university internal staff. So just drop us an email to OneBud, and he will check for you and get that list updated and rectified.
Okay, thank you.
So much, yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience. The question.
I'm Priya here from PEDS. Doctor, I want to ask if for the study plan, because for PEDS, we don't actually get our rotation like per year. We get it every 3 months. So we can't really like plan or confirm what postings we're going to go. So for the study plan, so now if let's say I've already done 2 postings, so I can put the 2 postings and then proceed to update the rotational supervisor. Can I go back and edit it later?
Yes, definitely. You can do that. You can do stage by stage. You can put first your study plan, you can just put first 2 rotations. So that's the reason, okay, once you put your study plan in the first 2 rotations, you must get that approved, of course, so that you will see these 2 rotations in the rotation list, and then you can activate that and continue. Once you're done with that, then you can go again and add your study plan again. Of course, whatever new study plan you add, again, it just goes to coordinator for approval. The only difference is it just takes a bit of a time because it goes back for approval. Whatever changes you make in your study plan, it goes for approval, but you can change or you can edit anything in your study plan as long it's not active yet.
Okay, thank you.
For the study plan, I can't find my rotation supervisor. People out now. Okay, so those who can't find supervisor's name, please do send an email. We will, of course, it's direct to us directly, so we will rectify not only for you, we will go through the list again to check so that we are aware. I mean, we apologize because it's also very overwhelming because initially I was handling it, but now one is also taking over. So we are also looking through names and coordinating this part. So please do send us the email so at least we can see what are the names are missed out. So we will know that we can do some changes from our end directly. For study plan, what else question? I can't log in. So same question. If you can't log in, is there a reset button on the login? Can trainee do reset?
Sure.
Yes. Can trainee reset or we have to reset?
Can just show them go to the login page. They should be forgot a password link there.
Okay. So apparently you can do a reset if you forget a password, but again, if you can't do a reset, it's not only just reset, you have to again get in touch with us. What we always want is error message. All right. As a technical person, we do hear the issues, but we cannot process the issue without knowing what is the error message. When you click forget password, there will be an error message. You have forgotten your password. Those kind of messages, it will give us a meaning what we need to do for you. So you can also say that you tried resetting your password. When you click reset, there will be some sort of error message. It will show that unable to reset a password, is not working, your reset is not doing. You can either send us a screenshot and we will rectify it for you. We can reset it from our backend, but apparently we have kind of implemented where you can reset the password and new email will be sent to you. But if those functions are not working, a bit of an extra mile, you can send us a screenshot so that you don't go back and forth. Send us a screenshot, email to one, and then we can reset for you, but we will also check why the reset function was not working. Some students have more than one academic supervisor, but have only entered one in the ePortfolio. How can this be detected and flagged up? This is, I believe, education supervisor, you can have up to 4 academic supervisor. But for rotational supervisor, you can only have 1 rotational supervisor. How can this be detected and flagged up? Flagged up, I'm not sure who wrote, but I'm not clear in detected and flagged up, because for an educational supervisor, you can have up to 4. But like I said, if you can add the first supervisor, get it approved. But let's say in another 1 month, you want to add 3rd and 4th supervisor, you need to redo again, but you can add up to 4, which including internal and external. Now, when you choose from the drop down, if the name is not there, then you have to get in touch with us. We have to update, like I said, but the name should appear. If the name is not there, then the account is not created. But you can add up to 4, but that is for education. For rotation, you cannot, for now, we don't have that feature that you can add more than 1 rotational supervisor. 1 rotation or 3 months rotation is only 1 rotation supervisor. So only that 1 rotational supervisor can close the rotation. Again, we also receive feedback if what that rotational supervisor resigns or something happens, then again, we will need to override where program coordinators will do the approval. But we also got request that we are looking at to add more than 1 rotational, which is 2 rotational supervisor, if that's what you're asking. But for now, we can only add 1 rotational supervisor. So detect, I'm not sure, but you can view, if you go to my portfolio on your left, you can view all the list of your name, the supervisor 1, supervisor 2, then your rotational, your study plan in a single format. There is a section, is our screen share now? But there is a section under my portfolio on the left panel. All the supervisor's name will be appearing there. All right, so can we have an actual hands-on session at the computer lab to do this together, perhaps by face, since there are so many of us at these centers? Yes, we can, definitely. I'm more than happy to train and show you, but again, we also need to find time, but also do send us an email to who they can send email to from. Who can send an email if they want to have a face to face? put your email address lah kat bawah. Boleh type ke? Yeah. So I will send you another email address. Please do send in your request so that we know. Yeah, we are doing like department by department, but again, this is a very huge system. So again, this is an endless thing. So we have to do a lot of trainings and, but yes, if you send us an email, we just need to get it organized and we will do the training and hands-on. Yeah, it will take, you saw, even presenting it took about an hour. So an hands-on will take about an hour and a half to really understand how it works. And
Hi,
this is a two-way system we need to understand. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Suniza here. I think I
Yeah,
understand
Dr.
what the question about the ePortfolio, whether we can detect it and flag up. I think this is from supervisor point of view, because I suppose some student, they have two supervisor, but they only put one supervisor, and how the supervisor can know whether their name or not, their name in their ePortfolio or not. So this is just from supervisor's point of view, because I think some of them might not get GLA from the student. That's why they ask how we can detect and flag up about this. So I think this is a student responsibility to put their supervisor's name. If there is two supervisors, they should put two, not only one. That's what I understand.
Correct. So if you, I mean, like I said, education supervisor, you can add up to 4. So you have 4 supervisors, you have to put all 4 supervisors. And the moment you put your supervisor's name, email will be sent to them. And only once the supervisor approves, okay, then only when the supervisor logs into the account, they should, if I'm not mistaken, they should see a list of all the students that is under their supervision. So when they click on the student, then they should see the profile of the student's work. Anyway, we will check on that, but that's what I understand. When once the education supervisor approves, automatically the name gets added to the education supervisor's portfolio or record. So they will see more than one student. So all those are approved. Those who are not approved will be under the notification section or under the pending. It should be under the notification section of the supervisor's dashboard. So you will see which is pending and which is requires approval and which is rejected. I think somewhere there.
Raha, if the trainees put more than one educational supervisors, right? So does it mean that all the educational supervisors have to sign or approve the GLA?
Yes, all 4 has to accept. They are not approving, they're actually accepting the GLA. GLA is just about acknowledgement. Once they accept, only they can see all the students' work. If they don't accept, they cannot see any of the students' work, including the rotations or the assessment. So if they want to see what is in the assessment, how they've done the assessment, or anything that we enhance the feature, or maybe the research component once we bring in, they won't be able to see. So they have to accept if they want to see the students' work.
And for the rotational supervisor, because I'm sure I'm one of those, and I think other specialties also would need more than one. But I don't know. At least for oncology, we know that there are some centers that have, up to 3 rotational supervisors. But is there a limit on how many rotational supervisors you can add onto the system? Currently, there's only one, I believe.
Yes, currently there's only one, but I think we also request, we got this now quite a lot. Even we recently launching for the pathologist, and they also are asking for the same thing. So we are looking into adding more than one rotation, like the GLA, right? We can add up to 4. So we will have a cap, maybe at 3, a cap of 3 for any of the rotations. So we will have that implemented. I can't promise the time, but for now it's only one. But one.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
We have that in our list, right, to add more than one rotation supervisor.
Yeah, we did request that.
We have that, right? So just reconfirm we want that. There's a lot of them want to have more than one rotational supervisor for the rotation. Because currently only can add one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How to close previous rotation? How to close previous rotation agreement in order to activate current rotation. So close a rotation agreement, as a student, you can't close a rotation. You have to chase the rotational supervisor to close the rotation. So there is a section as a rotational supervisor. When you log in, you click on the student. There is one section where you scroll down and there's a section to close rotation. It's kind of, you put it in a big button, close rotation, and there's a big text box that you need to write your comment for the students, and then close the rotation. So currently it's quite fast to close the rotation, but it needs the rotational supervisor to close the rotation. So you have to chase the rotational supervisor. I asked AI assistant. Yeah, actually that is amazing. Yeah. Step by step guide. Yeah. Yes, definitely. We have to put in AI. That's where it's growing, right? AI is growing. We will definitely look into this. Can I ask when this will be implemented at perspective department? Actually, the system is already ready. It's already live. We are already using it. I think general surgery has been using it. I think the challenge here is the name list. Getting the name list from departments, programs, KKM, that has been the challenge. And not only the name list, student list is quite straightforward because they have to get registered with us, and then we have the list and we can do that. But academic staff name list is always a challenge. But yeah, the program is already running. For further training for programs in terms of WBA and all that, again, I would suggest to get in touch with the Dean's office and then let them organize a time within the program, and then I can come in the training in terms of the WBAs or how to do the study plan and all that. So that flow we will have to do. But again, I think it's best person is to get in touch with the Dean's office to get further trainings in terms of building the forms and all that. We should do. We cannot just stop. It's a continuous thing. But our always challenge is the name list. So if any suggestions on how we can organize these names and get updated names from programs and how one can put in, because he can do batch update, but he cannot just one by one, it takes time. So if we can find a flow, then that would be amazing. Because currently one is also handling the system improvement, we are working on it. But also on the implementation part, we have one guy, we have Maya. I mean, it's definitely a heavy load to manage. So apologies from our side, but do get in touch with us so that we can make things happen. Because sometimes we also oversee. For out-campus students, is it necessary to include the out-campus CKM education supervisor in the GLA? Usually, the KKM staff might not be, but we can tag all KKM staff as GLA, as educational supervisor and rotational supervisor. We can tag all KKM staff because it's a tagging. Because at the end of the day, only when there's an approval, then only the KKM supervisor can see the student's record. Okay, they might be an educational supervisor by role, but without approval or without student submitting or selecting from the drop down, so we need student to see in the drop down. So without student selecting the name and sending an approval, they cannot see. So what we will do is, for all KKM staff, we will tag them as educational supervisor and rotational supervisor to avoid the headache from searching issue. Because I understand some students say that we can see the supervisor's name in the rotational, but we can't see the supervisor's name in the education supervisor list. That's because we tag them only that thing. So because I think to avoid that headache and to also reduce our work, we will tag all KKM staff as education and rotational supervisor, so that the student will have access to choose from the drop down. So I think that will solve that issue. So for education supervisor can be KKM members, can be UM staff. It's all based on who the student is selecting in the drop down and submitting. Because once you submit for education supervisor, it will automatically send an email. But for rotation supervisor, it's slightly different because before a rotation supervisor gets an email, there is one more level called study plan. So because in that study plan is where student will already punch in all the rotation supervisors that will be assigned to that rotation. And then there's an approval by program coordinator who is already approving. I understand this rotation supervisor for this. So it's very less likely for rotation supervisor to reject, because if she rejects or he rejects, then it means it could be either she's on leave or they're resigning or something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, any question did I miss? Hey. Sorry, can I ask? This one.
Yeah.
Can I ask when this will be implemented? Implementation, we've already implemented and will cover to respective department. Oh, this one is Maya. This one is the official. Okay, can. Yes, we will send an official letter and all those things. Yes. Okay, that can be done. Any other questions? Hi. No, this is the one I answered, I think. That's the last one.
Second from last.
Mana? Ini. Ni.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I ask for which batch of training this ePortfolio is applicable to? Because at the moment, okay. Yeah, this is a good one. We should switch. Okay. Okay, this is a good question. Okay, I've seen this happening. Okay, now, some of you might already start your rotation. This system works well for current, right? For what is happening now. Backdated, it's not so friendly because a lot of things are a lot of actions. You need approval, you need start date, end date, rotation, you need to start all the things. So it needs a lot of approval. So it's a lot of things that happen from now as it goes on. But now if you have let's say now you're in the second rotation, but you have done your first rotation without using the ePortfolio system, you would have been doing the manual way. Now you're going into the second rotation and you start using the system. So what happens to the first rotation? Now, what we can do is, if you remember just now in the system, I showed you at the last section, which is before procedure logbook, there's ePortfolio entries, right? Under the ePortfolio entries, we will need the program coordinator to create a section called year one rotation one, or the name of the rotation. And once they create that, then it becomes like a Dropbox where you choose that and then upload whatever documents you want to upload for record keeping. But you cannot do, so what we can do, we can only do record keeping, but we cannot do any rotational work there. So it's best to start the rotation because that's why the system is already started. So if you already missed your first rotation, you cannot go and do, no point you do a start rotation and end rotation and then submit all the assessment. It's just too much is going to happen. So alternatively, you don't activate rotation 1, you straight away activate rotation 2. For rotation 1 in your study plan, you keep it aside. But what you can do under the ePortfolio entry, you can upload your rotation 1 assessment that you have done. You can scan and upload. So we have a record that you have done the rotation 1 there. But do not activate your rotation 1 in your study plan because it's already passed, right? So you just start on with the rotation 2, whereas your rotation 1 WBAs and all that, you can actually upload it under the ePortfolio entries. If you notice, that section is just above procedural logbook. Do you want me to show? I can show. Let me share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So if you notice here, for study plan that has already been past dated or backdated study plan, you might create a study plan here.